Hello and welcome to my greenhouse. It is a gorgeous sunny day today. As you can see, the sun is absolutely shining today, which is brilliant. Not a cloud in the sky, beautiful blue sky today, but I've got a job that is not as nice. It is cleaning out this greenhouse, and if I just turn you round and just pan round, you can see how bad it is. I mean, I'm literally standing in the only bit of greenhouse that's got a bit of floor space free. It is that bad. I've started sowing a lot of seeds. They're going to need to be potted on in a couple of weeks' time, and there's no place for them in this greenhouse. So I need to get this sorted in here. I need to be quite ruthless as well. I know that last year I had a big clear out, but I think I kept them things that I still haven't used this year. So I really want to make the most of the space in here, and I don't want anything taking up precious real estate in here when I could have something growing. So that's my main priority today, is just getting rid. I don't want to bring anything into this spring that I don't need to. Sometimes it's just knowing where to start, and to be honest, I don't know where to start. But what I'm going to do first of all is just look for actual rubbish, so things like this, and then that should give a little bit of space. So that's my first port of call. Let's look for some rubbish. So I've taken some rubbish off the side here and this side, but I think before I go any further, I need to try and get these bags off the floor. So what I'm going to do is, because this is where I usually keep all of my growing mediums, there's things like compost, vermiculite, fertilisers. I keep them all under here on this shelf. So I think if I take what's on there off, give it a good sweep, and then put all these bags back up there, that might give me a little bit more space to see the wood from the trees. That little section there looks much better, so let's try and get on with the rest of it. So these are the bulbs that I planted not that long ago, literally a few weeks ago actually, and they are all starting to come up. So I think I'm going to move them outside of the greenhouse now. So I'll just leave those bulbs outside for the minute, and I'll sort out where I'm going to put them in the garden at a later date. I need to concentrate on in here. I don't want to get sidetracked. So the next thing is all the spare plants that I'd sowed over the winter that I didn't actually need in the end. So I think there was just a few bits and bobs here, some lettuce and things, but obviously I didn't need them. So I am going to just empty all of the compost into this bucket, and then I'll just put that on the garden somewhere. I'll just use that as a mulch. But it just means that I can then pack all of these bits away ready for the spring. So I've got a really disgusting teacup, which I'm not even going to show you because it's disgusting. It's been in here for so long. But I've got a couple of chilies that need to stay in here. I've got an ivy. I've got, this is lily of the valley that I've got for a woodland area in my garden. And then a few bits and pieces. But apart from that, it's pretty clear. I've got clematis there that I was trying to regrow back, and I've got the sweet peas that I sowed yesterday. So I'm just going to give this area a bit of a clean and then start to fill this up so then I can work on the other areas. Okay, this top area is now looking fantastic. It looks so much better. So I've got the few things that I've started off already and the things I've sort of been overwintering, a few of them. I've got my potatoes that I've been chitting, and I've got some seeds that I started last year. They're perennials, so they will be coming back this year, hopefully, and I'll be planting them out in the garden. So I've got a nice clear space there now, and I know what's going on over there. I've got loads and loads of milk jugs that I was collecting, my friends were collecting for me as well, to use them for the winter sowing method, but I finished that now. We are coming into spring and I've started loads in milk jugs, so I definitely won't be needing these, so I'm going to pop these in the recycling. All of the terracotta pots that I've got in the greenhouse will be being used for my spring displays, so I'm going to pop them out in the garden now because they're not needed in here. I'll put them in place in the garden, and then I usually pot them up from there so that I can make a nice display out of them. I've got a lot of pots out here that I had house plants in, but I have just done a huge cull of my house plants because I just had way too many. So I think what I'm going to do is get these washed up and just put them in storage, maybe in my loft. They don't need to be in the greenhouse, I know that. I'm not planning on getting any more house plants, but they're quite handy to have if you give gifts, because you could quite easily take a cutting of one of your house plants and pot it up and give it to someone as a gift, or an outdoor plant. So I think I am going to keep them just for that purpose. I'm going to give them a wash, put them up in the loft. They don't need to be kept here. I always take bags down to the allotment with like water and things like that. I mean, that's actually still sealed, so I could probably still use that, but it tends to just then get shoved in the greenhouse and forgotten about. So I'm going to try, is there anything in here or is it all just rubbish? That is all just rubbish, so let's get rid of that. Harvesting trugs, these definitely need to go down to the allotment for when I'm going to be harvesting a lot more. They don't need to be kept in the greenhouse. They're taking up a lot of space, and they're better down there because then they're there for when you need them, for when you need to harvest something. So I'm going to take these down to the plot. So I've got a whole load of pots under here and trays and things that I start seeds out of. I just need to make a decision which ones I want to keep and reuse again, because as you know, I like reusing things. But I also need to be honest, like, have I used any of this stuff? So a lot of it I probably am going to be putting in the recycling. I didn't even know I had this bird feeder. So I really need to have a think about this now and be very honest with myself and not try to keep too much stuff. In the middle of all of that, I just heard the bin man, so I just grabbed that bag and went and put it into the bin. So that's actually gone now, which makes me feel really good, because we only get our collections every 2 weeks, probably like everyone else, but it just means it's out of the house. It feels so good that I've cleared this out today, because all that stuff that I've cleared out is now gone. So it's sort of the last push now. So I've got all of these pots that I bought back from the allotment. Anything broken is going to go in the bin, and everything else I'm going to actually put at the back here. So I find it easier to put all of my pots and everything back here, and then this is sort of where I put everything I'm growing, and on the top there obviously, but this bottom bit here is where I like to put all my pots. So I'm going to give that a clear, and then I'm going to move all of these and all of these that I'm going to keep into that space there. So this looks so much better. I've got all my pots, I've got all my trays, I've got trays here that I use underneath plant pots. It's all looking great. I've got my potatoes like I spoke about before. I've just given these a little bit of a water actually because it's getting quite hot in here. So I feel like this area is pretty much done. I feel like this area down here is done. I just need to sweep this area, but this area is pretty much done as well. It's just really on top of here, and to be honest, I'm nearly at the end. Look, this is just a plant pot that I could probably use outside actually, so that can now go outside. It's another one of those. Put it under there. And then this is just all my scissors and my small tools. A large one can go in there. That can go in the bin. Yeah, there's not much here now. It's just basically about getting a bit tidier, which doesn't come easy for me when it comes to gardening, because I just start one thing and then another thing happens. So let's try and make that a bit more. Spotted another one here a minute ago, and a couple more of these forks. I'm going there. That's for my compost. I've already got a big one in there, but I'll leave them two there so I know where they are. That can be emptied. I'm going to sweep all this, put it in here, and then this can just go in the garden. Oh, it's feeling good. It's nearly done. These are things that can definitely come out of the greenhouse. I do want to use them, but they're not doing much use in here, so these are going to go outside. And that just looks fantastic now. I am so pleased with this. So if I come this side now, this is completely clear. So that can now house all of my new plantings when I pop things up. I've also got lots more room over here. I've got all my pots over here. I've got my potting up station, really nice and tidy, ready to go. I've got all of my growing mediums, compost feeds, all nice and organised. All my tools up here. Oh, feels so good. I feel like I'm ready for spring now. This has made me so happy. I just want to show you something as well. My peas have started coming up. I just think that's so exciting. I've had a really good morning actually. This has made me feel so good, so ready for spring. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you again soon.